What are we? What are you? In this age, we have often found identity in our political allegiances, our alliances with a party. We cling to these fervently in hope of a better life, of a better future, of a better America. We cling to these parties because they claim to hold the answers. We cling to these parties because they say that only they hold the keys to ending the issues that plague our nation. They, at a surface level inspection, have different platforms, different ideologies, and different demographics. However, there is a true nature of these parties. It has existed for generations, under the noses of Americans, like a shadow in the background. The politicians that claim to represent different issues have the same donors. These parties have the same donors, the same key supporters. These parties are one and the same. They are united by one goal: to remain in this perpetual state of power they have created to divide the populace on trivial issues. They all benefit from this system, one which is fueled on the division and the hatred that they generate. They convince their members that the other members of a party are evil, because for them, the more hatred and division that is generated, the more donations spill inwards. The people, us, blinded by their own hatred, adopt this reverence towards their own party, funding and supporting it without concern with the bigger picture. We are simply debating about the same side of the coin. Nothing changes if nothing changes. This is true with many things in life. Why doesn't our situation change? We elect fresh faces to whatever house of representation we wish, and yet no matter what, nothing changes. We are faced with the same issues, the same obstacles, and the same hardships. Ask yourself, is your life really better? They promise us prosperity, development, and growth, and yet things remain the same. Why does it seem that no matter who we elect to office, nothing changes? The politicians we elect to the chambers of government are so different, are they not? That is what they claim. We elect these politicians. We do so under the belief that they will uphold their promises and aid what should be their main concern: us. They are our representatives, yet in office, they only seem to represent themselves. They focus their efforts towards ensuring that they prosper, not us. We plead to these politicians to aid us, to save us, and yet despite our fervent cries, they continue to shun the needs of Americans. They feign action by writing laws filled with loopholes and fallacies. They act on trivial issues without focusing on the issues that really matter. They attempt to put a coat of paint on a crumbling home, our home, and point to that as a signal of their success, yet the foundation is still cracked. We wonder why nothing changes. It is because we are electing those into office whose only deviation is their faces. If you're listening to this, you are probably angry at this. You are enraged at the fact that our futures are cast into jeopardy because of a few selfish actions. You are enraged that we are treated like mere pawns. We elect people who treat us as just voters that can be shifted around the table from one issue to the next. They ignore our demands, they disregard us, while they act like squabbling children. They support the opposite of what they preach. They disregard us as a means to an end. We can no longer elect politicians who only seek to do this. Nothing changes if nothing changes. If we want change, then we must break this cycle. Words mean nothing without action. We need to act, yet many of us see no other viable alternative. We are stuck instead watching passively as things continue to degrade and we implode upon ourselves, fighting with our fellow neighbors and our fellow Americans. We settle. We settle for those who are subpar. We settle for the lesser of two evils. We settle because we feel that that is our best shot at representing ourselves. We all secretly wish, hope, and desire, all of us, to elect representatives who will actually represent the people, not themselves or their interests. We elect those who will focus on real issues. We must stop this cycle if we wish for something to change. What if we do not break this cycle? What if we fail to? What if we continue down a route filled with false promises? The same cycle will continue, around, again, and again. We will be left behind. The working man, the middle class, all will be sidelined as our politicians continue to disregard us and chase after their goals. We will be swept aside like dust. We will be treated as pawns. Are you a pawn? We cannot survive this current cycle. It will only continue to worsen, to degrade, to harm us. Have we not suffered enough? We can no longer wait as our nation falters and descends deeper into disunity, chaos, and disintegration. We can no longer sit idly by. That is, if we wish for something to change. We cannot expect anything will change simply by sitting passively in our comfortable homes and watching the world fly by. We cannot expect anything will change if we do not change ourselves. Change will not simply be bestowed upon us. We must break this cycle so that we can truly have these things: development, prosperity, growth, and advancement. We must ensure that our future Americans have a healthy, safe, and clean tomorrow. This is our duty. We must break this cycle if we wish for change. We must break this cycle so that we will no longer be pawns, for you are not a pawn. We feel as if we are powerless. We do have power, yes, but we are weak alone. Together, we are strong. For that is the purpose of division. To keep us weak is to keep us divided. We are all Americans here. It does not matter what party we're from, where we live, or who we are fighting with ourselves. We must stop fighting with ourselves and realize that if we were to come together, if we were to start looking forward instead of side to side suspiciously at one another, then we could accomplish anything and everything. We must have unity. We must be an actual united America. We have power. The words I say here today should not just be that. They should be backed with action. Action of this magnitude cannot be done alone. It must be done as a unit, together. We need to stop standing idly by, to stop standing with our heads bowed and our shoulders down. We need to act. Words without action are nothing but words. Change comes from action, not words on a piece of paper. Words are powerful, yes, but without action, they are nothing. We need to act for our future. We need to act if we want something to change. We need to act for a better future, a better America. We need to stop our infighting that is only going to destroy us, to destroy everything. We need to stop, and we need to realize that we are all the same. How should we act? How should we? This is through the creation of a new organization, one which promotes and binds the American people together. This organization will stop the relentless arguing, the bickering, the childish fighting. They have done nothing but argue with one another without confronting the true issues. Their lack of action is destroying everything that surrounds us. This organization will be Unitary America, created for that purpose, of uniting America, of accomplishing actual real change. No longer will we be able to find an alternative. We will be that alternative. We will get actual representatives, not picked by the party bosses or the same few donors. We will get actual issues done. We will act. We will act, and we will ensure that the American people are represented, not taken advantage of. We will be a mouthpiece of the American people. Our voice will represent America. Actions, not words. Actions, not words. We will do. We will not stand by and simply watch. If we do not build the future we want, then who will? Who will take up that mantle, I ask you? Who will do what must be done? Who will do this best, if not us? Who will? We cannot afford to lose. We cannot afford to listen to more false words from false men of false parties. We cannot afford to sit. We cannot afford to stand. We must stand as our country is further divided. We are not an organization. We are a movement. We are a movement not of destructive partisan politics of chaos. We are a united voice of everyday Americans who want the best for their country. We are a movement that advocates for a better future, a prosperous future. We are a movement that will not just put a coat of paint on the house. We're going to fix that foundation. We are a movement that will make history. The cost is too great if we do not. I ask you this final question. Will you act? Do you want to be on the side of history that sits and patiently waits? Or do you want to be on the side of history that acts, that forges the future? Join us in creating a united America. Join us in creating a unitary America.